Do this one thing before you start your week to drive better results. I've been tracking every week for the past 8 years just to realize that it all comes down to this one thing to actually make my results better as someone who create content, college student, and also a business founder. And I'm gonna share it with you. I promise that after this video, you will be able to do the same. So you're gonna achieve in what you achieve in a week, what you used to achieve in a month, at least. Okay, so now let's talk. The way that I'm gonna explain to you this is I'm gonna give you the lessons, I'm gonna give you the stories, and I'm gonna give you the secrets, all one by one. So it all will make sense in a second, so follow me with this one. I started at the age of 14, I started making YouTube videos. Business, I started doing it when I was 8, 7, something like that. I started going on business ventures. However, school, it's something that I did since I was 4 years old or something. But still, I'm gonna say it started at 7 and my educational system for about 16 years. So 16 years, about 8 years in also creating content. And I started about 9, but I'm not gonna say 12 years in actually being a business or going on and off in business ventures, but you can say whatever you want. If there is one thing that I learned from combining business founding, creating content, and being a college, is you have to understand that you have to control what is in between your ears. So when we speak about this topic, you might ask, okay, what does this exactly mean? Explain to me, what do you mean? I'm not talking about what you think consciously. So I say, as an example, tomorrow I want to meet this friend because I want to network. That's conscious. What we're talking about unconscious is the driving force that drives you to actually make results happen. So let's say you have an objective, you have a goal, it's a weekly goal, you've made it, it used to take you 2 months. Now you follow these principles and you realize that, well, I can do it in 1 week. So you're actually going all in and you're doing it in 1 week. Your literally motivating desire that will actually go through is your unconscious mind. The way to access your unconscious mind is by having reasonable goals. So reasonable is like using reason, but it shouldn't be realistic. It has to be unrealistic. We're gonna get through that, okay? It has to be unrealistic to give you the motivation, excitement to actually go through the tasks. But it has to be reasonable, so it helps you to actually achieve what you want to achieve in life. But at the same time, you have to mix emotions with it. So let's say this week I want to do 1,000 push-ups as an example, or 2,000, whatever that is. So instead of saying I'm gonna do 2,000 push-ups, that's my goal, I can write that down, but I would say I'm gonna do 1,000 or 2,000 push-ups, and if I don't, I'm not gonna maintain my health. In this age, where I should maintain my health, if I don't do this right now, I know that I will never do it, and also I might just die. This is crazy example, I know, but the thing is, you have to mix emotions. It's whatever. It's like if you're gonna say, if I don't do 2,000 push-ups this week, I'm gonna fucking die. It's more likely that you are going to achieve it than you just say, I want to make 1,000 push-ups. Although you're just saying it to yourself, it's different. So now I'm gonna give you the knowledge from a book. The best of books is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is the best of entrepreneurial books. It's awesome. This book speaks about unconscious mind so beautifully. In fact, it's perfectly stated about how you have to mix your emotions with what you really want. So it's not sufficient and efficient and enough to just want something. You have to want it, and on stakes you have to make emotions. That's why you see a lot of people, like on social media, just stories in general, they start from a bad point, they hate it so much they will do whatever it takes to get out of that. That is emotion. So they want to reach a certain point, they use their emotions, so you have to be emotional. I know everyone is telling you have to be unemotional. No, be emotional when it comes to your goals. Okay, so be unemotional in how you deal, manage, whatever, it's fine. But when it comes to your goals, let's say you want to do it, like anything, really anything, make something on stake and make it motivating by desires. Look, I'm gonna give you an example. So let's say as personal, knowledge, it's like I had 1 year that I got suspended. And by the way, it's just because I didn't use this unconscious mind point. But if now I have, let's say, a test and I want to study, but whatever, I need motivation. I want to do 100 hours of study. This is unrealistic. It's like, it's not happening. I'm just saying. Thing is, it's like, if I want to study all in for this, I might just say, I have to go all in and study 100 hours, or else I'm gonna fucking repeat the year that I lost. Do you want to be there? No, you have to fucking do it. That's emotions. But the act is reasonable. I did it. I choose that with my unconscious mind, but I added emotions to it. You can call that stake. According to the book Think and Grow Rich, it calls it emotions. Because if you put stakes, it's like, if I'm not gonna do this, I'm gonna hate myself. Whatever, hate yourself. Your mind doesn't work like that. Sure, it can work sometimes, but really, it's like, what is the motivating force? And it has to be positive. It's like, because you want it to be constructive, not negative. Something like that. Okay, good. Now you understand this principle, and you understand that you have to use your unconscious mind, and the way you do it is you put the goal and also you mix it with emotions. When you mix it with the emotions, it's more likely that you are actually going to achieve that goal. When you are more likely to achieve that goal will help you to achieve the bigger goals. It's called sub-goals. Actually, just my mentor, my business mentor, and also my older brother just told me a few days ago. He said, look, it's called sub-goals or milestones for a reason, because you get those big goals and you break them down to smaller goals so you can actually achieve them. Awesome. But the thing is, like, this is what it is. Now I told you something that just was hidden that you have to comprehend. If you do this one thing correctly, probably everything in your life will be good, but if you do it wrong, everything will be bad. So in my first year in college, I was repeating this sentence that literally ruined everything. I said, even if you study all the time and God doesn't want you to succeed, you will never succeed. Or you will not succeed, not never, but you will not succeed. So imagine saying that, is that if you ever, I was saying to people, like to my friends, everything, people in college, repeating this, even if you study all the time and God doesn't want you to succeed, you will not succeed. Guess what happened? I was in the 8th class, I was always studying. In fact, that night of an exam, I stayed up late until 5 a.m. studying. Guess what happened? I got suspended last year. What you say happens. What I say right now, even if you study nothing and God wants you to succeed, you will succeed. Because I learned, I got my scar, I don't want you to do that. And if you think it's something easy, when I was crying, when my mother was crying, when we were miserable, nobody was with us. You understand? Now you understand? Okay, good. So now we understand how unconscious mind works. In one, putting the goal and pushing emotions to actually make it a motivating force. So that's your fuel. 2, you have to make positive information. You have to make positive affirmation for a reason, and that's what's called also the inner dialogue. It's explained perfectly in the book Think and Grow Rich, because it talks about how our unconscious mind really doesn't differentiate. It just knows if it's positive energy or negative energy. So if I'm going to say my day is great, even if I lie, my unconscious mind understands that it's positive energy, and it's more likely that he will literally make life better. Because your unconscious mind makes 90% of the decisions that you make throughout the day. You're not just thinking about, I'm going to raise my hand. You don't. So how to train your unconscious mind to do different stuff is literally doing these principles that are extremely perfectly explained in the book Think and Grow Rich. He says, well, you have to do one thing, which is you have to understand that the unconscious mind is not accessed by everyone. The only way to access the unconscious mind is by training. Most people never access it, or access it like just, by accident a few times in their lives. You see hints, inspirations, visions, whatever that is. It's like, he says that all comes from unconscious mind. Okay, so when you think about it, like, okay, this makes sense. And this is why when you got a hint, when you have the hint, when you have the inspiration, you feel emotions, you feel it's unlimited intelligence. That's exactly what's mentioned in the book. He says that the source of unconscious mind is the source of unlimited intelligence. He says if you want to make something like decision or something, you have to tap into your unconscious mind. And the way to do it is you have to train. How to train? It's like how to train yourself. You have to mix what you want, strong desires. Okay, it's a very strong desire. It's just like I would like to actually go to the park today. That's not strong. But if I'm gonna say I want to go to the park today, if I'm not gonna go, I'm gonna die. Or something. I'm just saying this just to explain to you this is the extreme case. You can just say anything. It's like, I want to film a video in the theme park or in the park, and you say, I want to go, because if I don't film this video, I might just miss another opportunity to get all of these views that I really know and I really want, because they will get me closer to my goal. Makes sense? Now you're motivated. Not motivated, but like your unconscious mind is working with you and giving you the unlimited intelligence, unlimited resources, unlimited everything. And there is one thing that I've never shared publicly. So imagine, this is big, this is huge. In almost a decade of me creating content, there was one thing that I did to actually create my most viral content up to date. There was a video that I was creating and actually was collaborating with this YouTuber. One thing that I was repeatedly in the video. I believed in it so much that it came into reality. I said this video will get 700,000 views. 700,000 views. I was repeating it like my life depended on it. I said I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get this 700,000 views. Get how much it has right now. Guess. 600? No. 700? No. 800? No. 3.3 million. It's got 600 in the first year or so. But the thing is, unconscious mind was tapped that day. Now that I read Think and Grow Rich, it makes all the sense. In fact, I just thought about this just today, although I read Think and Grow Rich about 1 or 2 or 3 months ago. I reread it again because it's a book that is so much information, you have to read it again. But the thing is, these fundamentals are really what makes the difference. Really what makes the difference between someone who can get what he wants and someone who doesn't. If you want to start your week so greatly and finish it even better, you have to understand these fundamentals. Because it's not only goal making, it's really who you are, how you operate, what's your operating system, what it is the operating system. You see devices, there is iOS, there is Android, whatever, all of them. What's your operating system? Guess what? It's programmed. You can program your operating system. How do you program it? Is what you give to your brain. You understand? It's like what you give to your brain. One, how do you speak to yourself? Those positive affirmations are just as important as everything else. Thing is, nobody's hearing you. So if you're complaining about how your back hurts, or how you don't have a girlfriend, or how you didn't get yet what you want to, you might just talk about the positive things and give your unconscious mind, your operating system, positive energy to work with. Instead of just moaning all day like a little baby. It's not what you do, because your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not, by the way. And that's why people call it the law of attraction, the law. It's like whatever you believe in or not, you know. It's even mentioned in the book, in Think and Grow Rich. It has another chapter which is like, you have to visualize your goal. And more than that, you have to visualize what you will do in order for you to get your goal. And you have to say that out loud. And you have to say it every morning. And you cannot say, I want to have this. Okay, like let's say goal is to go to a specific park. This is just an example, okay? Nobody has that as a goal. I know. Everybody goes to the park every day. But let's say he's gonna say, I want to go to the park. He can't say that because it confirms his desire. We said his desire, his emotions. But to confirm positively to his unconscious mind, he has to say, I go to the park in the present tense. There is no want, there is no will. It's just I go, I do, I have, whatever. Because simply you're programming your mind. You're making the unconscious mind getting used to something. And this is really what happens. Like I said, this video has 700,000 views. And it got that in like the first year. It got probably more, it's like 900,000. But the thing is, it's like the same principle. So now you probably ask yourselves, like, okay, now I understand all of these principles about unconscious mind. I know how to use my unconscious mind in my favor. But also, like, how do I know my goals? Like how, let's say I have a week, I want to actually make in a week, what do I do in a month? Obviously, you have to know what you do in a month in the first place. You have to look at the past year and you say, okay, what is something that I was working on for the past year? Is that your business, your college, your content, whatever? And you say, okay, now I've been working on that, so what would be like the craziest? Like it has to be unrealistic, and this is also a point from the 4-Hour Work Week. He talks about it. He says about every goal has to be unrealistic because that will give you the adrenaline in you to be motivated to actually take on the tasks. So make it unrealistic. So when you're gonna do that, you're gonna say, what's the unrealistic thing that I can do in the next week? And you want to make it do not get, most likely. Because if you're gonna say, well, it's like, you see the park example we said is like, you're gonna go to the park, you make a video and you get millions of views. Now, if you're gonna say my goal is to get millions of views, it's vague. But if you're gonna say my goal is to go to the park 10 times this week and make 10 videos and make them as like with my knowledge that I have to be most likely that I will get those millions of views that I want. Or recreate my most viral videos. Or recreate the most viral videos on the internet or my competitors or. The thing is, you have to make goals based on stuff that you can control, so you can do and you can measure. You want to track your goals. So it's like 10 times you can track. It's like one day, oh God, I went one day. The evening, I went another time. Okay, now how much do I have? I have 8. And how many days I have left? I have 6. Okay, good. Now the next day you do 2. Okay, I did 4. Now how many? I have 6. How many days do I have left? I have 5. Okay, you do another 2 in the next day, and then you're gonna do 1. Thing is, it has to be trackable, measurable, and doable. By meaning doable, you have to actually be able to you control it. The results of your video you can't control, but you can control how many videos you create. How many scripts you write. In your business, you cannot control how many people will say yes or close the deals, but you can control how many calls you make, how many cold DMs you make, how many cold emails, how much content you produce, whatever that is. Okay? And the thing is, this is just the fundamentals. This is just very important. You have to comprehend these things. It's just as important as anything else. So you have to understand it. Okay, and you have to comprehend it. So you use your unconscious mind to be in your favor with the few steps that we talked about. Okay, so it's about making the desire, also mixing it with emotion, as well as when you make something unconsciously, you have to speak positively and give it the positive vibration that it has to. Then you make a goal that you can control, which is usually volume or consistency goals, it's called. So it's like, instead of saying I'm gonna get the results, I'm gonna make the goal what will make me the results. Now, we understand all of these principles, but if there is one thing that can help you to achieve goals in 1 week, what used to take you 1 month or so, is this. It's called the Parkinson Law. The Parkinson Law is basically just getting goals that usually take a long period and condense them in a long period, in a very short period that is completely unrealistic, but that will literally excite you to do it. So let's say it's even, look, everybody does it Elon Musk does it. All of your favorite companies does it. So we have to do it too. Elon Musk also speaks about it. He says very early on, he says that in a conference that he said every company has to do this. You make your 10 years goals and make them in 6 months and make it your goal. Not only you will have the chance to actually achieve those goals, but you will be by definition better than all of your peers because they have the perspective, they put themselves the perspective that can only be achieved in 10 years lifespan. But for you, you have the perspective that you can achieve it in 6 months. You're already in a better position. You're positioning yourself to win. And like Sun Tzu in The Art of War, one of the most famous books, right? He says, the war is won even before you even begin. So if you're gonna do it for 1 week, make something that takes you 1, 2, 3, 4 months, condense it in 1 week. It's gonna look, even if you don't do it, you will have the chance to do it, and you're gonna be better than your peers that only they think it can only be done. The closest is 4 months. That's how we do it. That's the Parkinson Law, and that's what they say. The gas can only explode, or will always explode, in the space of its container. So if you're gonna say this will take me 1 month, it will take you 1 month. If you're gonna say this will take me 1 week, it will take you 1 week. If you're gonna say this will take me 1 day, it will take you 1 day. And that's the entire principle of Parkinson Law that all of your favorite people actually use. Now, as I promised, now you are able, literally, that's the one thing that I do, and the one thing that that's the one thing that you should do to actually achieve your goal. And that's the only thing that you have to think about before starting your year, before starting your week, and actually have the head start and actually achieve those goals and make it and do it back to back to back to back. And the thing is, you can do it right now immediately without the need of anything external. And what you've seen here, you can never unsee it. So you might as well subscribe.